Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I'm going to be talking about the Flash Gordon movie Purple Death from Outer Space, which is ostensibly from 1966. That's what IMDb will tell you, for instance. But as I will discuss later, it was actually made mostly about 25 years earlier than that. And the plot is that people across the world are dying from a strange contagion, the only symptom of which is a purple mark on the body. Flash Gordon, Dale Arden, and Hans Zarkov quickly identify that the deaths are caused by a spaceship from the planet Mongo, which is once more under the command of the malevolent Emperor Ming. So, it's off to Mongo for Flash, Dale, and Zarkov, where they hope to find an antidote and also to thwart whatever scheme Ming's got planned this time. After all, while Ming is evil enough to just kill people for no reason, he's usually got more ambitious plans than that behind his wickedness. The cure for the Purple Death turns out to be Polarite, a rare substance found only in Mongo's frozen wasteland of Phrygia. Clever naming was not really a feature of the Flash Gordon stories. So it's off to this land of icy perils that Flash and friends must go. And you can be sure that Ming and his minions will be in, if you'll pardon the expression, hot pursuit. So the first thing you need to know is that this movie, while released in 1966, is actually just stitched together footage from the 1940s serial Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. That 12-episode serial had a total runtime of a bit over 3 hours, making it pretty easy to cut down into this movie's sub-90-minute length. Now, this is important context because there was a vast difference between mid-1960s film production, even inexpensive film production, and the film production that was in place in 1940. Most obviously, Hollywood films of the mid-60s were generally in colour, not black and white. 1966, when this film came out, was actually the last year in which Hollywood produced black and white films as a regular part of doing business. Thereafter, they would be produced only for specific artistic reasons. That's certainly not the only difference, though. Cinematic storytelling techniques have obviously changed over the more than 2 decades between the production of the original serial and this movie adaptation from it. To give an idea of the scope of the change we're talking about, consider that 2001 A Space Odyssey came out in 1968, Star Wars in 1977, and Alien in 1979. All of these production dates are far closer to 1966 than the date at which the script for this film was written and the footage filmed. The result is, frankly, not a movie that feels like it came from the 60s at all, which is hardly surprising because it didn't. But is it a movie that's fun to watch? That's a far more important question. And for me, yes, it was. I'm not saying that it's a good film, mind you. The plot is unsophisticated, the acting is hammy without the deliberate camp of the 1980 film that I love so much, and the effects are mostly giggle-inducing. But I found it kind of fun despite all that. The late 30s, very early 40s production values doubtless contribute to my enjoyment. Goofy stories featuring goofy rocket ships, goofy sets, and even goofy monsters are something that I am predisposed to like. But I think a key contributor to my enjoyment of the film is the pacing. It rockets along at a breakneck pace, careening from cliffhanger to cliffhanger without any interest in taking a breath. Flash Gordon gets reported dead no less than 3 times in the course of less than 90 minutes. None of these deaths ever stick, of course. The movie is not based on a serial called Flash Gordon Dies in this one. And the acting, while hardly refined or naturalistic, also contributes to the show's sense of momentum. It is simultaneously earnest and energetic, and it fits the overall pacing and tone of the script. At the core of that earnest and energetic cast is Buster Crabbe, who won a gold medal for swimming at the 1932 Olympics and used that success to launch an acting career. His title role in the 1933 serial Tarzan the Fearless was an early success, though the role of the Jungle King quickly became synonymous with another Olympic swimming champion, Johnny Weissmuller. Weissmuller, who would make no less than 12 Tarzan films in the 30s and 40s, pretty much had that role sewn up from there. Crabbe proved willing and able to take on a variety of other roles instead, though. He played Flash Gordon in 3 successful serials, of which Conquers the Universe was the last, as well as rival science fiction hero Buck Rogers in 1939, and more than a dozen Billy the Kid films during World War II. As Crabbe himself would freely admit, very few of his roles required much dramatic depth, but he brought a broad chest, tittle good looks, and a genial charm that saw him enjoy regular work throughout the 30s and 40s. And he's a solid choice for the heroic lead here. It's easy to see why the three Flash Gordon serials enjoyed great success when they first came out. And this was actually one of two separate movies chopped together out of bits of Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe, both released in 1966. The original serial, you see, spreads much of its action over two separate locations, the icy wastelands of Phrygia, which are featured here, and the dense forests of Arborea. As I said, clever naming, not really a feature of Flash Gordon. These latter sections became the primary venue for the action in Perils from the Planet Mongo, which I have not seen, but which, from what I read online, seems to offer pretty much the same experience: goofy sets and costumes, and an unsophisticated histrionic script that relies primarily on its breathless pace to keep itself afloat. Perhaps I shall track it down sometime. I certainly had plenty of fun with its sister show. As I said, it's not art. I would hesitate to call it good. It would be interesting to watch the original serial and compare, though at over 3 hours it might drag a bit. But yeah, I had fun with this, and at 90 minutes it doesn't outstay its welcome. So, next time we stay in the 60s, legitimately this time, for the 1967 offering Night Fright. But that's next time. Until then, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've seen today's movie, let me know what you thought of it.